Hi, my name is Katy Sue, and this is my explanation for AP Calc FRQ from page 67 to 69. The first question asks us to find the area of the portion S and R. And the part A asks us to find the area of S, which is this portion over here. So in order to do this, I subtracted 12.142 minus integral from 0 to 4 of g of x dx, which is the same as root x plus 6 of cosine pi x over 8. I subtracted 12.142 from this function because the question told us that the coordinate axis has the area of 12.142. So when I calculated this whole formula through the calculator, I got 5.204. And for part B, it's asking for us to find the area of the 3D solid generated when S is revolved around the horizontal y equals 5. So I drew this graph over here. This is the line of y equals 5, and since we're revolving the area of region X, this is the portion that is getting revolved. So in order to do this, this is Rx, capital Rx, and this is the small letter Rx. So what I did was pi, since the area formula for this one is pi integral of r squared, and in order to find r, I did 5 minus g of x, which is this portion, and 5 minus f of x, which is this portion, and then I did everything whole thing squared dx. And for C, it's asking us to find the volume of the r sculpture that has hx equals 4 minus x. So I did integral from 0 to 4 because the interval is 0 to 4, and I plugged in the function of 4 minus x and finding the integral, and I got 12.243 using my calculator. Number 2 focuses on using the table to find different intervals and average numbers. So for A, it's asking us to estimate r prime 4. In order to estimate r prime 4 from a original function table, we have to find the slope. So since it's 4 and 4 is in the middle of 3 and 5, I used these two numbers to calculate r prime 4. So I used the slope formula of r5 minus r3 over 5 minus 3, and I did 112 minus 95 over 2, and from there I got 17 over 2 rotations per minute squared. And then for B, it asks us about at which RT is 106 rotations per minute, and justify your answer. So I say yes, because by the intermediate value theorem, R is continuous because R of S is 95 and R of 5 is 112, and 106 is in between these two numbers of 95 and 112, and there is a time between 3 and 5 that RT equals 106. And for C, it's asking us to use left-Riemann sum with 4 subintervals, and using correct units, explain the meaning of integral from 0 to 9 of r of t dt in the context of the problem. So for C, I used the left-Riemann sum formula and got 3 times 72 plus 2 times 95 plus 112 plus 3 times 77, and I got the whole number as 749. And using the context of this problem, I can find that the integral shows us the total number of rotations of wheel over 0 to 9 minutes. And for D, it asks us about the number of rotations per minute of the wheel of the stationary bicycle at t minutes, and the st function is defined by 40 plus 20 pi sine t pi t over 18 for 0 to 9 interval. So in order to do this, I use the integral and the 1 over 9 as the general formula. So using this, I did 1 over 9 times integral of 0 to 9, 40 plus 20 pi sine pi t over 18, and I found the dt using the u sub formula. And for this, I got 1 over 9 times 40 times 9 minus 360 cosine of pi over 2 minus 0 minus 360 cosine of 0, and I got 720 over 9, which is 80 rotations per minute. And for number 3, it's asking us to use this function given to find the slope and different functions of g of x. So first, it asks us to find g of 4. And in order to find g of 4, we can just plug in 4 into this function given, g of x equals 5 plus integral from 2 to x of f of t. So using this, I did 5 plus integral from 2 to 4 f of t dt, and got 5 plus negative 1 plus 2, and got 13 over 2. How I got this interval is by using this graph. Since graph of f shows the slope of g of 4, we can find the integral, which is the area. So I got negative 1/2 by finding this area, and I got 2 by finding this area of the triangle, because 1 times 4 divided by 2 is 2. And then on what interval is g increasing? So it's asking us about when the g function is increasing. And so function g is increasing from negative 1 to 1 and 3 to 4. And this is because g prime of x equals f of x is positive. And I could use this because this graph of f is the same as g prime of x. So when the line is above the x equals 0 line, it means that the slope is positive, and it means that the slope is negative over here. So I did negative 1 to 1, and then 3 to 4 as when g is increasing. And for C, it's asking us to find the absolute minimum value and the absolute maximum value. So I just used the table of x and gx and plugged in negative 1, 1, 3, and 4. And I found this formula by setting up when the function equals 0. And 7 over 2 was the absolute minimum because it was the smallest number. And 13 over 2 was the absolute maximum because it was the highest value of the numbers in the table. For D, it's asking us to find let h equals x and x times g of x, and find the h prime of 2. So in order to find the derivative of x times g prime g of x, we can use the multiplicative formula, and you find the derivative of this one and times original function, plus find the derivative of this one and multiply the original function. So you get this, and I plugged in number 2 into all of these functions. I got 5 plus 2 times negative 1, so I got 3 as the answer. Thank you.